This is KVUE News at 5.
Evidence revealed. New information tonight in Greg Kelly's sex assault conviction, and his lawyers hope it could get him out of jail sooner than expected.
And 2 out-of-state senators calling for South by Southwest to relocate.
Good afternoon. I'm Terry Gruca.
And I'm Mike Rush. New sworn statements in the case involving Greg Kelly now being used to bolster Kelly's stance that he was wrongfully convicted of sexually assaulting a 4-year-old boy.
Tony Polhetsky has been following every development in the story. He's here now with the very latest. Tony?
So Mike and Terry, we're talking about 2 new affidavits released today by Kelly's legal team. They're from people we can expect to hear from in person in August when Kelly will ask a judge to overturn his conviction. The first is from a mother who said her little boy confused Greg Kelly and Jonathan McCarty when he saw pictures of Kelly on TV right after his arrest in 2013. Her son was between 7 and 9 at the time. Kelly's defense team has said they believe the victim identified Kelly as the perpetrator when really it was McCarty, who prosecutors now say is a suspect. The second affidavit is from a former friend of McCarty's who said McCarty confessed while the two were doing drugs together, saying, quote, "It was me, not Greg. I did that to the little boy." As we know, a Williamson County jury convicted Kelly after the 4-year-old boy testified that Kelly was the one who assaulted him. And just yesterday, Kelly was brought back from a state prison in Huntsville to the Williamson County jail to prepare for his hearing in August. Now, in addition to using these 2 new statements to bolster claims that their client is innocent, Kelly's lawyers also say they have now given prosecutors justification to release Kelly on bond until that hearing amid all of this new evidence. Mike and Terry?
Okay, Tony, thank you. Starting September 1st, Texas will have new abortion regulations. Governor Greg Abbott has signed Senate Bill 8 into law. It bans so-called partial birth abortions, which are already prohibited under federal law. It also bans so-called dismemberment abortions and the sale or donation of fetal tissue from elective abortions. The bill requires aborted fetuses to be buried or cremated, too. And Governor Greg Abbott wants lawmakers to pass more abortion restrictions when they return to the Capitol for a special session. Abbott added 3 abortion-related items to the special session call. KVUE political reporter Ashley Godot is live at the Capitol. Ashley, a special session is similar to a regular session, but there are some major differences.
That's right, Terry. First and foremost, everything will move a lot faster. Instead of 140 days, lawmakers will have 30 days to complete the same process to pass bills. And they can only consider bills on topics identified by the governor, but those topics can change.
We all knew it was coming.
I am announcing a special session.
But what most people didn't expect?
After the sunset legislation passes out of the Senate, the following 19 items will be added immediately to the special session.
Governor Greg Abbott setting an ambitious special call agenda of 20 items.
He's basically asking them to do in 30 days 20 issues they couldn't handle in 140 days.
Ross Ramsey, executive editor of the Texas Tribune.
30 days seems like a lot when you start. It doesn't last very long at all. It's very quick, and these things are going to happen very quickly.
The legislative process is the same. Lawmakers file bills. The bills are assigned to committees, have public hearings, and if they're voted out, go to the full House or Senate for a vote. Once a bill is passed, it's sent to the other chamber where the process starts over. While the governor has set a list of topics, lawmakers have some freedom.
Well, they can file all the bills they want. The only bills they can kind of legally consider are the ones that the governor has put on the call.
Of course, there's a catch. The call can change.
And if you file a bill, you know, and the governor sees that you've got some momentum for it and, you know, they've got time for it or something else, the governor can swoop in at any time and say, add this item, add that item.
But even with no additional call items, lawmakers will have their hands full.
20 issues is a lot, even if the legislature is in a really good mood and everybody's getting along and everybody's running in the same direction at the same pace. 20 is a lot to do in 30 days. I think some of these issues are not going to see the light of day.
And if that's the case, the question becomes, will Governor Abbott call lawmakers back again?
Now, Governor Abbott said since he had to call lawmakers back at the taxpayers' expense, he wanted to make it count. Lawmakers each get a per diem of $190 a day. With 182 lawmakers for 30 days, that's more than $1 million, not including overhead costs like printing and utilities. A special session starts July 18th. Live at the Capitol, Ashley Goodo, KVUE News.
Thanks, Ashley. South by Southwest organizers are rejecting a call by 2 Democratic senators to relocate the conference because of Senate Bill 4, better known as the Sanctuary Cities Law. New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez and Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto wrote a letter to South by Southwest CEO Roland Swenson requesting the move to a different state, saying SB 4 is not safe for immigrants and Americans to visit Texas. But South by Southwest fired back, saying that they understand the senator's request, but said in part, for us, this is not a solution. Austin is our home and an integral part of who we are. We will stay here and continue to make our event inclusive while fighting for all rights of all. Organizers say the festivals in 2016 brought about $325 million to the Austin economy. Numbers for the 2017 festival have not yet been released. Well, Dallas area State Representative Victoria Niave is facing drunk driving charges. This is video of her being processed into the jail last night. Dallas police say she hit a tree in the Lakewood area in North Texas. They say she smelled of alcohol, was unsteady, and slurred her speech. She refused a field sobriety test or to give a breath or blood sample.
Big warm up today, low to mid 90s right now, 95 degrees, the current high temperature out at Camp Mabry, also the warmest spot in the region, 94 in San Antonio, low 90s at Fredericksburg and Blanco. Small chance for a spotty shower tomorrow, mainly in the hill country, with increasing humidity the next few days. That's going to lead to an increase in the heat index. We'll look at that heat index forecast for the upcoming weekend coming up.
See you then. Thanks so much, Albert. One day before former FBI Director James Comey testifies before Congress, we have an idea of what he's going to say, and it appears to be a lot more than what Intel chief told Congress in their hearing today. Lawmakers pressed them about conversations they've had with President Trump about the investigation into Russia. Stephanie Ramos breaks it all down.
The day before fired FBI Director James Comey testifies before the Senate Intelligence Committee, his opening remarks are released. In the explosive statement, Comey talks about his conversations with President Trump, about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and his communications with Russia. According to Comey, the president tells him, "I hope you can see your way to letting this go, to letting Flynn go." Comey recounts the January 27th dinner he had with the president, who he says told him, "I need loyalty. I expect loyalty." The FBI director says he tried to explain the importance of the Department of Justice independence from the White House.
And given the recent news about ongoing investigations.
On Capitol Hill today, the same committee had tough questions for the nation's top intelligence officials, all of them refusing to say whether or not President Trump had asked them to intervene in Comey's Russia investigation.
I have never been directed to do anything I believe to be illegal, immoral, unethical, or inappropriate.
Their responses frustrating both Republican and Democratic senators.
Let me ask you specifically, did the president, the reports that are out there, ask you in any way, shape, or form to back off or downplay the Russia investigation?
I'm not going to discuss the specifics of conversations with the President of the United States, but I stand by the comment I just made to you, sir.
The Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coats, echoed the same.
I don't believe it's appropriate for me to address that in a public session.
In James Comey's prepared testimony, he also details the 3 times he told President Trump he was not the subject of an open counterintelligence case, meaning he was not personally under investigation at that time. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
President Donald Trump's son, Eric, adamantly denies a report claiming the Trump Organization profited from his charitable organization that helps kids with cancer. The Eric Trump Foundation's lavish annual fundraisers raised millions of dollars for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, with Eric Trump saying most of the costs were covered. But Forbes magazine raises questions about that claim, reporting that the Golf Invitational's expenses ballooned. The IRS filings don't list what the money was spent on, but Forbes reports the change happened when Donald Trump allegedly demanded the foundation be charged for using Trump facilities.
Donald came in and said, you know what, we're going to start billing you guys. Even though this is a charity event, even though this is for Kids for Cancer, we want you guys to pay.
Eric Trump releasing a statement that reads in part, contrary to recent reports, at no time did the Trump Organization profit in any way from the foundation or any of its activities.
A family